Since today was the day we had to leave, the sister-in-law said, "Since you're leaving, please move out. We'll pay the $473 monthly loan for the house. With my daughter coming soon, we don't need your help anymore." Her words hurt deeply because Tom and I had supported the in-laws so much, yet they quickly changed their loyalty to the sister-in-law. As I packed my things near the entrance, I spoke carefully. "By the way, there seems to be a misunderstanding about the monthly loan payments. It's actually..." Their faces turned pale and shocked before I could finish. "My name is Emily. I'm 35 years old and have been married to Tom for 3 years. We met through a mutual friend who thought we'd be a great match, and she was right. From the moment we talked, Tom and I felt a strong connection. Soon, we started dating. 2 years later, Tom asked me to marry him, and I happily said yes. Both of our families were happy about our marriage, and we had a lovely wedding with many guests. After our honeymoon, Tom and I started living together. We shared the housework and enjoyed a calm and happy life. Tom had lived alone for a long time and was a great cook, which helped a lot. We worked well as a team and were grateful for each other's company. 3 years flew by, and our relationship was just as strong as it had been in the beginning. But then something serious happened. Tom's father became very sick. We rushed to the hospital, and after a week of tests, he was allowed to go home, but there was still worry he might get sick again. Tom worried about what would happen if his father got sick once more and no one was there to help. So, he suggested, "What if we lived together with my parents?" I didn't expect this suggestion, but I agreed. We quickly talked to his parents about it. "Live together?" Tom's mother asked. "It's no trouble at all," I said. "We just want to help and make sure you're okay." Tom's parents were grateful and a little emotional. They clearly worried about the future. Soon after, we all moved into the same house. Tom's mother took care of most of the housework since both Tom and I worked full-time. His father, now retired, spent his days resting, which helped his health improve. Life was happy, and we all got along well. After some time, Tom's parents suggested something new. "I've been thinking," Tom's father said. "This house is a bit small for all 4 adults, and if you have children in the future, it'll get even tighter." His mother added, "We should consider building a new house, a bigger one where everyone can live comfortably for the rest of our lives." They explained they couldn't afford this with just their savings and wanted us all to decide together. Tom and I were surprised but thought it was a good idea. The current house was okay but not very spacious. A bigger house might reduce future stress. We agreed to work together to find the perfect new home. The 4 of us visited several real estate agencies, looking at many houses. We wanted something barrier-free for the older parents, with plenty of rooms for kids in the future. It needed to be safe, close to a hospital and train station, and near grocery stores. Such a house would be expensive, but we decided that since we'd lived there for a long time, it was worth it. Finally, our new house was finished. It was beautiful both inside and out, and it lifted everyone's spirits. Tom's parents were so happy. "I feel healthier already. I want to live here for many years," they said. Tom and I were excited too. We imagined playing with children in the garden and having family barbecues. We were full of hope and happiness. Living there was comfortable and peaceful. It even made me enjoy my work more, and everything in my life went smoothly. We felt grateful for this new home. 2 years passed quickly. Our relationship with Tom's parents stayed good, and we believed the future would be full of joy. But then the sister-in-law and her husband started visiting our new house. "This house is so nice. It's not fair you get to live here and not us," she said. Tom replied, "We discussed buying this house with our parents." Still, she showed jealousy. "We're stuck in a cheap rental. It feels like you're living beyond your means." She visited often and kept complaining about how unfair it was. Her words began to influence our in-laws. "It would be nice if Connor moved in with us," they said. "Yes, it would make things livelier," the sister-in-law smiled. Tom and I exchanged worried looks. It was clear our in-laws liked her more than they liked us sometimes. She was pretty and delicate-looking, like a doll. She was 4 years younger than Tom and had always been pampered. Because our in-laws were older, they spoiled her even more, and she became quite demanding. Tom often had to deal with her difficult attitude. At first, after our marriage, Tom and I thought she wouldn't cause trouble, but recently, she kept coming over during the day when we were at work, watching our house closely. "Oh, Emily, you're back. I'll leave now. she'd say quickly, not wanting to stay long. I wish you'd stay longer, I told her, but she said it might be inconvenient for her and Tom. Still, it felt like she was trying to take over our home. One holiday, when Tom and I went out shopping in the morning, we came back to find unfamiliar shoes at the entrance. We looked at each other, wondering what was going on. Tom's mother came to us, her voice different than usual. You're finally back, we need to talk. In the living room, the sister-in-law and her husband were waiting. From today, we will be living here, so please leave, she said confidently. Tom and I were shocked. What was she thinking? How can you just say that suddenly? Tom asked. It's not sudden, we have been talking to Mom and Dad about this for a long time, she replied confidently. They said they would take care of everything, housework, caring for us, even paying the loan. If our daughter lives here, we don't need you anymore, she said cruelly. Her words hurt deeply. Seeing my shocked face, she smirked and added, we'll pay the $473 monthly loan. Tom and I were stunned. $473? That was a very small amount for such a nice house. We realized the in-laws were planning to kick us out. We begged for a week to find a new place. The sister-in-law smiled happily, while the in-laws looked disappointed. We're looking forward to living here with Kana and her husband, they said. Tom and I seriously wondered if we could live with such people. We quickly searched for rental places and moved out within a week. On our last day, the sister-in-law said coldly, take care of everything from now on, don't ever come back here. We had supported the in-laws so much, and they abandoned us so easily. As I was packing, I told them, by the way, you misunderstood about the loan, it's actually $1,825 a month. Their faces turned pale again. This house is under my father's name, the loan payments come directly from his account, Emily and I have been paying everything. Tom and I transferred $473 and $1,352 each month to our father's account. Our parents had never checked the full cost carefully. The sister-in-law and her family couldn't even afford to pay this amount. They eventually sold the house but still had large debts. Tom and I moved into our new rented apartment, which was cozy and comfortable. We saved money while still enjoying life, aiming to build a happy future together. Though it was hard to leave the old house, we believed this was the right choice. When Tom and I got married, I already knew a little about his younger sister, Kana. She was born when their parents were already older, so they doted on her a lot. In fact, they spoiled her so much that she grew up used to getting her way. Tom told me about it early on, and I took his words seriously. Because of that, I was always careful and a little guarded around Kana. But when we first got married, she didn't cause any trouble, and I began to think maybe I had misunderstood her. She even seemed polite. Things were peaceful for a while. However, that peace didn't last. As time went on, I noticed that Kana had taken a growing interest in our new home. At first, it was little things, she'd drop by unexpectedly or come over when we weren't home. Then I started hearing from the neighbors that she was visiting often during the day when Tom and I were both at work. It felt strange, but I tried not to jump to conclusions. One day, I came home from work and found her getting ready to leave. "Oh, Emily, you're back." "Then I'll be leaving now," she said sweetly. I tried to be polite. "Huh? I wish you'd stay a bit longer." But she shook her head. "No, Tom and Emily might find it inconvenient. I don't think it's a nuisance," I replied, trying to be kind. "You might say that," she said sharply, "but it's obvious from your face and the way you act. Unwanted guests should leave quickly. See you, Mom and Dad. Take care." She walked out, leaving behind an awkward silence. Tom's parents looked disappointed that she left. They didn't say anything, but their faces made it clear, they would have rather had her around than me. After that, I often stayed in my room after work. The atmosphere in the house became heavy, and the dinner table grew quiet. There was a tension in the air that neither Tom nor I could ignore. Eventually, Tom started to piece things together. He realized his sister was driving a wedge between us and his parents. Then, one day during the holidays, everything changed. Tom and I went out shopping in the morning. When we got back, we noticed unfamiliar shoes at the entrance. We exchanged nervous glances. Something wasn't right. The moment we walked in, Tom's mother came out from the living room. Her tone was serious. "You're finally back. We need to talk." We stepped inside and saw Kana and her husband already sitting there, looking very comfortable. "Ah, you're here," Kana said with a smug smile. "From today, we'll be living here. So please leave." Tom and I froze in shock. "What? What are you talking about?" "It's not sudden," Kana said coolly. "We've talked about this with Mom and Dad for a while now." I looked at my in-laws, and they didn't deny it. "They said they'll take care of us now," Tom's mother said. "I'll do the housework, take care of them when needed," Kana added. "You two don't have children and Emily doesn't even help around the house. They don't need you anymore." Her words stung deeply. I looked at Tom, trying to keep calm. "We'll pay the $473 mortgage," Kana's husband offered. At that, Tom and I looked at each other. They thought the house cost only that much? We were speechless. Still, it was clear we were being pushed out. We didn't argue. We simply asked for 1 week to find a new place and move. "Fine," Kana said. She was thrilled. The in-laws were smiling. They all seemed relieved that we were finally leaving. Tom and I spent the next few days searching for a new apartment. We found one quickly and packed our things. The day we moved out, Tom's parents didn't even try to be kind. "Please take care of everything from now on," they said coldly. "And don't ever come back." Kana and her husband grinned. "Now we can finally live here with Mom and Dad," she said, her voice full of joy. "It's like a dream." They kept throwing insults at us as we loaded the car. But right before we left, I turned around and said something they weren't expecting. "Oh, by the way," I said casually. "The mortgage isn't $473. It's actually $1,825 a month." They all froze. "What?" Kana's husband was in disbelief. "But Dad said it was just $473. Tom stepped in calmly. "It's a misunderstanding. The house is under our father's name, but the full mortgage comes out of his account. Emily and I covered it ourselves. She sent $1,352 and I sent $473 every month. Dad must have only remembered Emily's part. We also paid for half of all living expenses," I added. "They never checked. They just assumed it wasn't a big deal." Kana's husband looked panicked. "We can't pay that. We can't even afford groceries. And for the record," I said, "I'm a department head at a major company. I earn more than enough." Tom nodded. "More than I do." They looked like the ground had crumbled beneath them. "Well," Tom said, "you insisted on living here and taking over. It's your responsibility now." "No. Wait. Let's go back to how things were," his parents pleaded. "We were wrong. Sorry," I said. "We're not coming back. Dad said it was only $473. We already gave up our old house." "That's not our problem," I said. "You made your choice." As the family started arguing among themselves, Tom and I quietly walked out the door. Later, we heard what happened. Unable to pay the mortgage, they were forced to sell the house. Even after using up the father-in-law's retirement money, they still had debt. They ended up moving to a tiny, cheap apartment. All of them, Tom's parents, Kana, and her husband, had to work day and night just to make ends meet. Eventually, Kana's husband couldn't handle the pressure and left. It was sad, but we didn't feel sorry for them. If they had just treated us kindly, none of this would have happened. But that was no longer our concern. Tom and I settled into our new apartment, which turned out to be cozier than we expected. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. We were finally at peace. With no extra burdens and our savings growing, we started living more freely, buying little luxuries from time to time, smiling more, and enjoying each other's company. We may have lost a house, but we gained something much more valuable: our freedom, our dignity, and a future we could build together. And that, to us, was worth everything.